Welcome. Come in. That looked like I slept in the garage, right? And to be honest, sometimes it feels that way. Yeah, last night I was playing around with the Stepler's Polo batteries and the version 3 of their BMS. And it is still not great. It is still not great. So many software issues, but more about this in a later video. Today is a very special day. And not only because we have almost pure sunshine. We've got this haze here a little bit. See that? This is from the fires further this way. I think they are burning down the dry grass and everything. We have seen this on our way back from the Sunshine Coast. There were fires everywhere, but I think they were controlled fires. And they're getting rid of all this tall, brown, dry grass now before the actual fire season starts. But still, we have pure sunshine here, and we have like probably 10 amps outside or so. And we have 19 amps outside. Look at this. It is 9:45. It is very early in the morning. But as I said, today hopefully is the day when we are fully charging our battery shelf for the very first time after the winter. I really can't remember when we fully charged this battery to 100% for the last time. Let's have a quick look. But first of all, welcome back here to the off-grid garage in super sunny and hot Australia. Oh, we may have some eagles up there. All the way up there. Can you see them? No, probably not. Oh yeah, there. There you can see it. Oh, beautiful. Nice. Sunny, sunny, sunny. Still about 15 degrees in the night and about 25, 26 during the day, so it's a perfect temperature at the moment. It is nice and chilly in here in the garage. It will warm up a little bit, but you can see this all in the Victron VRM anyway. Temperatures outside, inside the garage and inside the battery shelf. I've got these Ruby tags everywhere and they are all connected to the Victron VRM. Here at the top you can see the tilt system we built on top of the house a little bit over 1 year ago. The AC loads I have connected at the moment. This is the Victron EV charging station we have installed and commissioned recently. These are all the MPPT solar charge controllers we have on the carport, on the west and east roof here, on the garage and on the big shed here as well. You can see all 4 solar charge controllers here, how much kilowatt peak they have and how much output they do at the moment. I think we've got the washing machine running at the moment as well. There's 1.8 kilowatt going into the house. So we are actually discharging the battery at the moment. But we are at 56% already early in the morning. And the big solar push today is just around the corner. Okay, let's have a look this month. So this blue line here in the middle of the graph shows us the state of charge of the battery. And we can see how it slowly creeps up here. So I gained more and more state of charge during this month. Okay, last month that was obviously different. That was in August. I still discharged the battery down to 4%. It was very close to a shutdown. And here in July I had actually a shutdown on the 13th. I remember that date, the 13th. Yeah, we went down to 4% state of charge, and at around 3.5% the whole system will shut down because all the 3 BMSs of the battery shelf, one of the cells will reach 2.5 volts and turns off the BMS, and then the other 2 BMSs will turn off not long after. And this was actually a day when I was charging the vehicle and I thought I can make it until the next morning, but yeah, I was a bit too close with my estimation. 6:15 in the morning, so just before the sun actually got up, the whole system shut down and everything was dark. But I'll tell you more about this day later because this is a very important date. We wanted to have a look when the last time was we charged to 100%. This was just a peak here when I did some experiments with the Peter boards and I had to disconnect the Peter boards and then put the smart shunt back in again. So the actual state of charge actually peaked to 100%, but it was not 100%. Okay, so we are now in May. There was even no full charge in May. Let's have a look at April. Yes, April, we can see it here. Beginning of April, 100, 100, 100. Almost every single day, 100%. Until the 12th of April, this was the last time we charged to 100%. So this was beginning, mid of April, May, June, July, August, September we have now. 5 months, guys. 5 months later and still no full charge of the battery shelf. And this is quite in contrast to the year before, actually, when we had only 2.5 or 3 months actually without charging to 100%, because now we have a second electric vehicle and using far more energy, of course. Even we have enough sunshine now, I'm not able to fully charge the battery. I'm reaching now 70-75% here and there, but then when we plug in the vehicles again, well, state of charge goes down, we're using more energy and we are not able to fully charge the battery during the day. So it has been 5 months now. Looks like we need to install more solar. Yes, I've got some other projects in the pipeline, so stay tuned. So let's have a quick look at the Victron remote console here. So as you have seen, we are at 56% state of charge. This is what the Smart Shunt claims. And where's my... I'm logging in on the mobile phone via the Victron Connect app. 56% of course, we can see all the details down here. But more interestingly is the history of it. And it tells us 161 days and 22 hours since the last full charge. And all the other statistics are not quite accurate anymore because I had accidentally reset the Smart Shunt at some stage. Remember, we've got the second Smart Shunt when we test batteries here. It's called Smart Shunt Test. And I wanted to reset this Smart Shunt Test, of course, before we started the test of the battery. And I accidentally went into the Smart Shunt here, and down here there is the reset history button, and I clicked on it, confirmed it, and then I realized, oh my god, I reset the Smart Shunt. So this charged and discharged energy and everything is only since this reset. I lost all the history of the Smart Shunt. And this was basically everything I always had since we installed the battery shelf. So I mean, all the information is still in the Victron VRM, but it is not as nicely presented anymore as on this dashboard here. In the Victron Smart Shunt, which has just lost 161 days since the last full charge, right? As you know, we always have these issues with our BMSs that they are not correctly showing the state of charge if we don't reset them frequently. Yeah, this is like with the JBD, the DALI BMSs, regardless what you have, if you're not fully charging to 100% here and there, the BMS does not reset to 100%. It doesn't know when the battery is actually full. And from there on, it only does a column count. So it counts the amps going in and out either through the BMS or the Smart Shunt. And from there on, it calculates an estimate of state of charge, basically. So the Victron Smart Shunt claims we are at 56%. Let's have a look in the battery shelf. I still got these PIDA boards connected here just for monitoring purposes. They are not controlling or doing anything else. So bottom shelf is the JK-BMS. This is a 100 amp BMS with a 0.6 amp active balancer. Yeah, quite a while back we replaced the Heltec BMS in this battery shelf with another JK-BMS. And I selected this BMS on purpose because I wanted to see if a 0.6 amp active balancer is actually enough to keep this battery under control, right? And quite frankly, this is the best balanced battery now I have in the whole battery shelf. We will see this later, hopefully. The JK-BMS claimed we are at 83% state of charge. Yeah, this is how bad the estimate of the JK-BMS is since the last reset 161 days ago. Yeah, that was the last time the BMS was reset to 100%. The JK-BMS in the middle shelf is the first generation BMS. This is the one which still needs the 5 volt to start actually up, so I never turn this BMS off. Here, I'll show you quickly. Battery number 2. This BMS is running for 2 years, 212 days and 6 hours, 20 minutes and 51 seconds. Isn't that crazy? I never turn this BMS off. I have actually a sticker on the BMS now telling me how to start it again. We have to put this plus 5 volts in so it starts up. There's no button or something you can push to turn it on. It needs this additional 5 volts, but it is still going strong. Just if you are interested, this is the hardware version 7 with a software version 7. See, I've powered on this BMS 53 times, but this was in the beginning when we did a lot of testing with the JK-BMS before I actually installed it in the battery shelf. And since then, I probably turned it off maybe 2, 3, 4 times or so. That's it. Anyway, this old BMS claims we are in a state of charge of 86%, and they are very close together. See the two JK-BMSs? They are showing similar state of charge, yeah? So you would say, maybe they are right, you know? We are at 86% state of charge. And then in the top battery shelf, we've got the 100 amp JBD/Overkill BMS. This is another BMS which was installed in the battery shelf since we actually installed the battery shelf. So since the beginning, it was a donation from Medi from the Digital Mermaid YouTube channel. I linked this down below. And she went from the JBD Overkill BMSs to the JK BMSs and regretted later on. But she donated this BMS to me for basically testing purposes. And since then, it is installed there. And this one shows 42% state of charge. See that? So the JBD BMS is actually the closest to our Smart Shunt. And I have seen this probably for the last couple of months actually then, that the JBD BMS is always pretty close to the actual Victron Smart Shunt. And the Smart Shunt is my point of truth. So I would say 56% is very close to the true state of charge because the Victron Smart Shunt is very, very accurate in its calculation. So there is a huge gap between all these BMSs and the Smart Shunt as well. And remember this 13th of July it was, I think, or August, when I discharged the battery fully accidentally here and all the BMSs turned off one after another, yeah, because one of the batteries hit 2.5 volts. So what happened with all the BMSs? Yeah, they actually reset to 0%. All 3 BMSs showed 0%. And you would think a 0% reset is as good as a 100% reset at the top. But obviously it is not. Look at this. They're all counting the current differently for some reason. So anyway, during today's test we want to see how the BMS perform when we fully charge the battery again, and also how far off is the actual Victron Smart Shunt to the real 100% state of charge. And here, let us quickly go back into the Smart Shunt. So, the Victron Smart Shunt will actually reset to 100% state of charge when 3 of these parameters here are true. We need to reach the charged voltage of 55 volts. And the tail current is under 2%. What does 2% mean? Well, we've got the battery capacity of 864 ampere hours here. This is 100%. 2% of that, which is then 17.8 amps or something roughly. So if the tail current is under 17 amps, it is another criteria for the Smart Shunt to reset to 100%. But there's a third one, which is the charged detection time. So we need to be at 55 volts, current is under 17 point something amps for 3 minutes at least. Only if these 3 parameters are true, then the Smart Shunt will show 100% state of charge. They're doing this because you can really fine-tune when you want to reset your Smart Shunt to 100%. And this is what most BMSs don't have. They don't have a defined point where they're reset to 100% state of charge. They're always trying to find some formulas, but it's never accurate. It's never right for your application, for your system design. It works for some people, but not for others. But I think here what Victron shows us with these 3 parameters, it is actually a pretty good system now, and you can really fine-tune and determine yourself when you want to reset to 100%. Okay, my friends, it is now shortly after 10 o'clock and we can see the sun is slowly coming around. You can see here 400 watts, 380, 300, 250 watts makes 1.3 kilowatt altogether in solar production for the MPPTs, plus another 800 watts from the tilt system at the moment, which goes into the system as well, and we are charging the battery with 25 amps or 1.4 roughly kilowatts at the moment. This will increase dramatically in an hour or so, and hopefully we can fully charge this battery today. If it is getting close, I can turn on the Seplos Polo batteries in parallel with the Yishi Yang batteries. They are 100% charged almost. Yeah, it tells me 81%. It is jumping back and forward. It is terrible. It is terrible. The state of charge calculation in the Seplos version 3 BMS is not great. But as we know, neither is the JK-BMS with its state of charge calculation, right? Okay guys, this is the setup of the whole video today. I want to see how the 3 BMSs perform when we fully charge. Even I have still the PIDA boards installed here in all 3 BMSs. They are just for monitoring purposes for Home Assistant at the moment. They are not controlling anything, so I'm not using the CAN communication to charge the batteries. This is all done by the solar charge controllers. So these 4 solar charge controllers plus the smart shunt inside the battery case here, they are forming a Bluetooth smart network, a Victron smart network. They are communicating with each other, and one of them, the carport. This one here is the master BMS basically, so whatever I change in here, these settings are valid for all the other solar charge controllers as well. Even they are showing different parameters, but this one is the mothership and dictates what these ones have to do. So this one sits on 55.2 volts for half an hour, and then we drop down to 53.6 volts float voltage for the rest of the day. I probably increase the absorption timer here from half an hour probably to 2 hours or so, because when we hit this, we want to stay there and see how all the balances are doing, what deviation we have across the 16 cells in each of the battery shelves. Yeah, we want to do some good testing today. So I'm really looking forward to charge to 100% for the very first time after 161 days. That is crazy. Alright guys, I'll be back in an hour when we have more solar production here, and I'll show you how much power we actually get at the moment here, mid to end of September. Alright, you have a good morning and see you after the and also thank you for 95,687 subscribers. Thank you so much guys. Oh, we are getting so close to 100,000. I think I need a wider door then, right? There's another digit coming. Okay, it is now 11:15 and we have 115 amps outside. We are on 64% state of charge already, making 5.4 kilowatt from all the MPPT solar charge controllers here. You can see here carport, garage, west roof, east roof and the big shed. And we're also making 1.5 kilowatt from the tilt system. And because the tilt system is AC coupled, it goes through our AC cable through the pool system, comes back in here, and then because we are not using 1.5 kilowatt at the moment on AC load, the Multiplus actually converts this AC into DC and charges the batteries from this excess power from the tilt system. So at the moment it is a charger, but if we use more than 1.5 kilowatt, this one becomes an inverter again. Hence it is called inverter charger. It's a pretty cool system. So, and we have a quick look at the state of charge here. 51% the JK-BMS claims, the old JK-BMS at 93%, and the new JK-BMS at 91% state of charge. Yeah, we are still saying 64% is our point of truth. Smart shunt. 6.8 kilowatt on solar production altogether now. 1.4 is coming from the tilt system and 5.4 is coming from our DC charging through the MPPTs. And we are also getting a charge from the DC side, because what I have done, I have turned off the Polo batteries and the Yixiang do-it-yourself battery, and the MPPT from the pool fan system is now feeding into the batteries as well. I just want to get enough power today to actually fully charge the battery. Otherwise this video would be pointless, right? So hence we are seeing sometimes negative numbers here. This is when the MPPT from the pool fan system is actually pushing energy into the batteries as well. And here, as you can see, the top battery is actually taking more energy than the battery in the middle shelf or in the bottom shelf, yeah. But this is also because this is a 304 ampere hour battery, while the other twos are only 280 ampere hour batteries. So this battery naturally takes more energy anyway. You can also see that the battery in the middle shelf is actually taking less energy than all the other batteries, right? And I still think this is because of the aluminium bus bars. We have a higher resistance altogether in this battery. And I still haven't changed these bus bars to copper bus bars. So this will be one of the next projects as well. And then I want to see if this actually delivers more power or more current into this middle shelf battery. Okay, this was just a quick update, 11:15. See you probably in an hour or so. Sorry, it's me again. It's 11:45 now, so just half an hour later. Charging 130 amps, but I want to show you something here. So, The BMS in the middle shelf battery is at 99% state of charge. The battery in the bottom shelf, the other JK, is at 98% state of charge. Yeah, we've got a cell voltage of 3.43 volts at 43 amps. So this is a charging voltage. Yeah, it's not the actual cell voltage, it's a charging voltage. So yeah, it just jumped to 100%. So delta in all the batteries. The top shelf with the JBD overkill battery, 20 millivolt, 29 in the middle battery with the JK-BMS, and 16 millivolt only in the bottom shelf with the smallest JK-BMS I have here. Smart Shunt says we are at 71%. The JBD BMS almost shows 60%, but the two JK-BMSs are at 100% already. So totally off. And you can see it here in the history. They reached 100% charge yesterday as well. Mid-afternoon, 100%. And the battery was definitely not at 100%. Okay, we just keep charging with 140 amps here and enjoy the nice weather. There will be another pft. Oh, my friends, maybe I was completely wrong and the Smart Shunt is not as accurate as I was expecting it. At least not after 161 days and 22 hours, right? So, Smart Shunt says 80%, right? If we have a look at our three BMSs, the JBD overkill says 96. So it's 11% off. And both JK-BMS obviously are on 100%. But we can also see that the maximum cell voltage in the middle shelf battery is at 3.47 volts, 3.45 volts in the bottom shelf, and 3.44 volts in the top shelf. So the balancers are actually already on in all three BMSs. Deviation is 20 millivolt, 50 millivolt, and 25 millivolt. We're having a quick look here. We are still charging with 8 kilowatt, 150 amps into the battery. And I probably have to turn off the pull fence solar because this will not stop charging. It is still connected to the Yishi battery cell via CAN. Well, and the Yishi battery doesn't get charged, or the voltage is lower, and the BMS will tell the solar charge controllers, keep charging, keep charging, keep charging. Even we are already full in the battery shelf. So I quickly turn this off. All right, so we are now at 7.8 kilowatt, 140 amps into the battery, okay. But now everything is controlled via the solar charge controllers. And interestingly, we can also see that all MPPTs have now switched to absorption mode, yeah, from bulk to absorption. So they're keeping the voltage now constant to 55.2 volts. So we have actually reached the absorption voltage of 55.2 volts. Yep, we are at 55.2 volts. Here we go. Smart Shunt claims 80%. Wow, I would have never expected that. So the Smart Shunt is a good portion off. I mean, we are not fully charged yet. We are still absorbing with 136 amps, but you can see how the current is going down and we are charging slower and slower now. Airplane. Another delivery from QSO. So we can see the current is going down, 127 amps now. Let's go back into our battery shelf and see what's actually going on. See, and this is exactly what we have observed before, yeah? The middle shelf battery is actually taking more power than the other two shelves. And this was solely because it was charging slower before, all the time, yeah? Less energy went into this battery for the whole time, and now it is catching up because the voltage is so high. And hence we can see the current is actually fairly high. The same for the top battery shelf. We are still charging with 50 amps into this battery, and some of the cells are only at 3.43 volts. So 19 millivolt deviation, it is still catching up. The balancer is already on, but this is a passive balancer with around 100 milliamps or something only. And here we can also see the fairly high deviation of 45 to 50 millivolt. And I think this is because of the aluminium bus bars I have used there. They are creating a tiny bit more resistance between the aluminium terminal and the aluminium bus bar. There might be some oxidation in between, and this causes a tiny fraction of more resistance. But it shows clearly here, battery is charging slower than the other batteries because of the higher resistance. And now the deviation is higher as well. We've got more spread of voltage across these 16 cells. And here the bottom shelf battery now is balancing with 0.6 amps. Let's jump into battery number 3 for a second. There it is. And you can see there, balance current is 0.6 of an amp, yeah? But here again, nothing is actually going crazy at 55.2 volts. So maximum deviation is only in the middle shelf because of the bus bars, we believe. And everything else, even the top battery with a passive balancer, is only at 20 millivolt deviation. So that is all perfectly fine and safe. Okay, we are still charging with 117 amps into this battery shelf. So it may take another, I don't know, half an hour at least or something until the current really goes down. And even we have reached a pack voltage of over 55 volts now. The smart shunt is not resetting to 100% because the current is far too high. It's above the tail current we have set with 17 point something amps. And we need to be under that current for 3 minutes at least. So that's why we are seeing 82% still. 72 in the JBD and 100 and 100 in the JK-BMSs. So maybe they were not too far off actually. And it was my smart shunt which was off. Okay, we keep absorbing here and then I'll be back with more data. So my friends, I'm back. We are still charging the battery, but only with 1.1 kilowatts. We are down to 19.7 amps, yeah? Interestingly is that the frequency of the Multiplus has not increased to turn off our tilt system yet, because I have already turned on the hot water. So we've got a 1.5, 1.6 kilowatt load on the system, AC load. And as long as our AC load is still higher than what the tilt system delivers, there will be no increase in frequency, obviously. But later on, I will turn off the hot water and show you how the frequency will increase to 53 Hertz. And you can also see that the micro inverters of the tilt system will slowly ramp down and finally turn off altogether. 77%, it says. 100 and 100, of course. We are at 20 millivolt deviation. Isn't that good? Yeah, this is a passive balancer. Hasn't been balanced for 161 days. We are at 38 millivolt here in the middle shelf and at 36 millivolt in the bottom shelf. Remember, this is the small balancer, 0.6 amps only, yeah? How well these batteries are matched, how consistent they charge and discharge over 160 days and then charge up for the first time to 55.2 volts. That is incredible. So I think we are getting close now because the charging current into these three batteries has reduced to 15.7 amps now. So we are far under these 17 amps now. And the second trigger for the smart shunt to reset to 100% is now true. Voltage and under this tail current. Now the 3-minute timer is running. Don't know when this was started. So 87.6%. So let's say 88%. This will be 12% off after 161 days. And it is actually under-reporting, which is better than over-reporting. Yeah, better to know your battery is at 88%, but in reality it is at 100% already. And the middle shelf battery has now caught up as well, 7.2 amps only, so this is only slightly increased to what the other two batteries are still taking. Deviation 28 millivolt here, 34 in the bottom shelf and only 24 in the top battery with the JBD overkill BMS, so that is pretty cool. So while we are waiting for this to happen, I'm just going into Home Assistant here on my mobile phone and I will turn off the hot water. And up here have a look at the L1 frequency of the Multiplus. Hot water off. Okay, so this load is now gone. And we've got only 620 watts. This is for the pool pump. And some other loads connected, I don't know. But now we can see that the solar charge controllers are actually ramping down, yeah? 100, 200 watts are only coming from all these MPPTs here. The carport, the master, is always going to 0 first, yeah, and let the slaves do all the work, as it usually is, right? So you can easily identify the master and the slaves in your system if you have set up this smart network from Victron. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll make a video about this smart network from Victron, so I'll link this video down below. Have a look, it's a pretty cool system. Hey, you won't believe it, there's one single cloud in the sky and it's directly in front of the sun. But now the sun is coming back. See, we are now at charging current here, 21 amps again, so it resets the timer again. Hence, we are not seeing the 100% here. And this can take the whole afternoon until we actually see the 100%, until all three parameters are true. And you really have to fine-tune these settings in the Victron Smart Shunt to make it actually work. It can take a few days until you get the right point where it actually resets as you want it. Tell you what, it will be impossible with this weather. See, we've got some clouds coming in now and There's one directly for the sun. There's more clouds coming and going, coming and going. This will make it impossible for the smart shunt to reset to 100%. It could take forever. There, another cloud. So, and finally now we can see an increase in frequency here, 50.3 Hertz. So it's slowly ramping up, and the tilt system, the microinverter of the tilt system, is slowly ramping down at the same time. Because we are producing more energy now than the battery will take, so it needs to shut down this AC inverter. 50.6, you can see it ramping down, and frequency is slightly going up. See, 50.7, 50.6, it regulates the power coming in from the microinverter now automatically with the frequency. So it's so cool to watch. I could do this all day. No, I actually do. And even the JBD, the overkill BMS, has now reset to 100% state of charge. 30 millivolt deviation, 22 millivolt deviation, and 39 millivolt deviation. And now the three BMSs and the Victron Smart Shunt are on 100% state of charge. And from now on it should be relatively accurate what we are measuring. But I thought it would be the same when we discharge everything to 0%. So it was actually interesting today to see that the two JK-BMSs were not too far off from the true state of charge. Yeah? And only the Victron Smart Shunt was underreporting by 12%. Now the sun is coming back. MPPTs are kicking in for a moment, frequency is going down, tilt system is ramping up. So there's so much to watch and to see, it's unbelievable. But it all works. I've never had any issues with this. Unless I tinkered with the settings, of course, to do a test or whatever, then of course something turns off and then you've got, the lights go out. So, and this will be the maximum deviation we will see, 35 millivolt, 17 millivolt and 36 millivolt here in these BMSs or batteries. And from now on, if I fully charge the battery every single day, the deviation will only go down because it gives the balancer more time to do its job. Of course, we can wait another 2 hours now and see what the balancer does. And obviously deviation will come down, the batteries get balanced even more, but there's no actual point to keep the batteries here on 55.2 volts for too long. They are 100% saturated. See, they are not taking any current anymore, 1.6.55 amps. Let's connect to the CarPod MPPT controller again. Go into settings, battery, and let's set the absorption time to half an hour every day. And because we have already absorbed longer than these 30 minutes I'm setting right now, the Victron system does recognize that and will go into float mode immediately as soon as I press OK now. And go back, we got 0 watts now. And when we go further down here, we should actually see the battery will discharge a bit. There we go, we are now start to discharge the battery. And the frequency of the multiplus keeps obviously rising to control the output of the tilt system. We've still got an AC load connected here, so it uses the tilt system now to cover this load. 51.3 Hertz. As soon as this load goes away, we will see the frequency further increasing to 52.8, and then there will be 0 watts coming from the tilt system. Temperature and high voltage are the main reason for degradation in these batteries. So you really don't want to keep your battery above 3.45 volts for too long for no particular reason. Just turn it off. Go down to 3.35 and everything will be boom. Alright my friends, I think so far this video from today, watching the battery shelf charge to full to 100% for the very first time. So as you can see, all three BMSs and batteries are really nice balanced after 161 days not being fully charged and balanced. So there's no actual issue, the system runs without any problems. And the best thing is, there's no communication between all these BMSs here and the Victron system up here. No communication, nothing. The smart shunt in the battery shelf here measures the voltage and transmits this information to the MPPT solar charge controller, so they're charged to the correct voltage. This is the only communication we have, a Bluetooth network within the Victron system. But there's no CAN, there's no RS485 communication here, nothing. The PIDA boards are solely here to connect these batteries here to Home Assistant at the moment. So do you need communication? Absolutely not. If you set up all your solar charge controllers, your inverters correctly, there is no communication necessary. Voltage is totally fine to charge these lithium iron phosphate batteries with. And each of the BMSs will take care of one battery bank. If one turns off, the other two are still online and keep your system alive and running. Obviously, without communication, you don't know that one of your batteries has turned off. If you not already do this, just watch your battery from time to time, getting to 100% state of charge. Log in and check to all your BMSs and see what the voltages actually do. So there are plenty of ways monitoring your battery. And to be honest, 99% of the cases, you don't even need to monitor them because they're just running. The BMS will take care of your battery. If there's something going on, it will just turn it off, so it's 100% safe. Alright, my friends. Thank you very, very much for your amazing support here, for all your donations, becoming a channel member, clicking the thanks button, leaving comments and likes and sharing these videos on the Do-It-Yourself Solar Forum. I was looking for something the other day and I found 3 of my videos in one post already. So thank you very much for sharing them everywhere. And that's why we see the subscriber number is increasing very, very fast now. We are heading to 96,000 subscribers here on the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Without all this support, these videos would not be possible. Special thanks always goes to these beautiful people who are donating to the channel. And buying me a beer. Oh, that's the wrong t-shirt. Buying me a beer from time to time. Thank you very much for that. Until the next video, guys. You stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again for watching. See you then. Bye-bye. Ah, the battery shelf, huh? For the very first time again. It is 100% charged.